Commuters on the Greater Anglia network say some people are fainting due to overcrowded trains. Abellio's maintenance programme means there are fewer carriages at peak times, forcing many to stand or sit on the floor. It's another frustration for passengers already angry about cancellations and delays.
Tim would get commutes to London from Essex. He says he stands for over an hour every morning. This snapshot he sent us shows just how packed the train is.
It can be unsafe sometimes because there's nowhere to hold on to. So the train stops, lurches, people are falling over, or people are getting very cramped and having mild panic attacks or fainting, and there's nothing that you can do other than try and help them because the conductor can't get down the carriage because it's too packed. We have to pay £5,000 or more, in most cases more, for the privilege of being crammed into a sardine can.
It's here in Manningtree that the overcrowding really begins on the Norwich to London line. Abellio have told us that they have 2 carriages out at any one time as part of their regular maintenance programme. But that maintenance programme, we've been told, won't be finished until summer 2016. And it's not just overcrowding. Commuters have also been frustrated with delays and cancellations. A Freedom of Information request obtained by the BBC shows there have been more than 2 million minutes of delays since Abellio took over the franchise in 2012. That's only 90% of services running on time. More than 36,500 or 2% of trains have been cancelled, but nearly 6,000 of those were due to faults on Abellio's own trains.
We know from our research that only 35% of Abellio Greater Anglia's passengers are satisfied with the value for money they're getting from the service. That's got to improve, and there are lots of ways that Greater Anglia can do that, but they've got to start by listening to the passengers.
The company says it's been investing in modifications to trains to improve their reliability, but commuters say they just want a seat and a punctual service.
I actually wear jeans now because I'm used to sitting down on the floor. I've got my suits and shirts in the office. They say when I email them that they're refurbishing the carriages. The only thing I've noticed is they've got a new paint job on the outside, which is not much good to anyone, really.
I think it's worse when they only put 8 carriages on. It used to be 10, then it went down to 9, and then it's 8, and then basically you don't get a seat. It's pretty poor.
Most of the time you have to stand up both ways, in and out of London, especially if there's only 8 carriages.
Abellio says it's now finalising a plan to bring in more replacement cover vehicles. Felicity Simper, BBC Look East in Manningtree.
Well, earlier I spoke to Jonathan Denby from Abellio Greater Anglia. I asked him why commuters like those we saw in Felicity's report were having to put up with such overcrowding.
Well, unfortunately, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've had a particular challenge with our intercity trains between Norwich and London. We've had a number of short-term faults that have occurred all at once, which combined with a heavy maintenance programme has meant that we've had a number of trains running with 1 carriage short. But we have taken action to address that. Firstly, we're looking at changing the maintenance regime and the heavy maintenance programme, so that gives us more resilience. Secondly, we're also finalising plans to bring in more vehicles, more actual physical carriages, that again should make performance more consistent in that respect.
So why didn't you bring in carriages earlier so this problem didn't arise? Because there are those available to lease, aren't they?
Well, there are some now available to lease, but actually the carriages that we're negotiating to bring in weren't available until the last 2 or 3 weeks. So that was a challenge. And equally, the other carriages of a similar type are not just sat there in a ready-to-use format. They're actually been stored for many years and will take an awful lot of time and commissioning to actually get back into service.
But when Abellio took over the franchise in 2012, we reported on Look East that you were going to have 36 fewer carriages leased. You said you didn't need them. Isn't the truth that you actually got rid of the fat in the system and now that's showing?
Not in this respect, no, because those are different trains. These are not the trains that are being short-formed. So it's the intercity trains that we've been suffering the short formations on. These were for other parts of the network. And in actual fact, over the course of the franchise, our overall performance in terms of both formations and punctuality and reliability has been improving. It needs to get better. It slipped back from a high last year, which was some of the highest performance we'd ever seen, and that's been due to a number of factors. More fatalities. We've had 50% more fatalities on this network, so suicides, than we've had in previous years. That clearly is hugely disruptive and very sad, but it affects the train service. There's been a lot more severe weather, which has had impacts on the network, and the infrastructure has not been as reliable this year as in previous years. So we have been making progress, But clearly there is much more to do to get that consistency of performance week in, week out, month in, month out.
And your message to those commuters who tell us very regularly how frustrated and angry they are with the service, what's your message to them today?
Our message is very much we do care, we do understand, we're sorry for those times that we've let you down, and we're taking very significant steps and investing real money to improve the services, not both in the short term but also in the medium and long term too.
Jonathan Denby, thank you very much.
Thank you.